My troublemaker student told me she desperately wishes I would die and expressed her desire to unalive me, so I'm trying to get her expelled. So I have this one girl in my class who is a real jerk at times. We'll call her Jane. Jane has cussed at me before, made jokes about me in class, and she is an entitled girl who is spoiled by her rich parents. Any attempts to discipline her have been futile. She is also a bully to poorer kids. 2 days ago, I caught her vaping in the hallways during class time, and I told her she will miss recess because of this. She rolled her eyes at me, called me the worst teacher ever, then told me she wishes I would just go off and die and never bother her again with my stupid rules. So yesterday, I contacted our school counselor and admin via email. Unbeknownst to me, the school counselor had already made a home visit due to Jane saying unkind things to another child whose mom died this year. The counselor emailed me this morning, asking if she could talk to Jane sometime today, and I said yes. She pulled Jane out of class and was gone for about 20 minutes. When they returned, the counselor then searched the student's backpack before leaving with her again. I was kind of concerned by the fact that her backpack was being searched at the moment. The counselor then texted me to say she was taking the student to the assistant principal because she'd said some concerning things. I was not informed of what these concerning things were at the time, leaving me in a state of worry. A little while later, she followed up with a text, letting me know they were trying to get her parents up to the school. She also said she would need to do a threat assessment. But yet again, I was not informed as to what this threat was. About 30 minutes after that, the counselor came back and pulled me into the hallway. That's when the counselor dropped a bombshell on me. She told me that during the initial conversation, the student very matter-of-factly stated she wanted to bring a firearm to school and unalive me. When asked why, she said because I took away her recess. The student then said her plan was done and she'd made up her mind as to what she was going to do. Several times over, she restated her desire to unalive me and said she understood that means I would never come back, I would be gone forever, and she would be taking me away from my students, family, and friends. I was asked if I felt comfortable having her in my room while they waited for an officer to arrive to complete the next part of the threat assessment, and I said absolutely not. The counselor took the student back with her and I didn't hear anything for several hours, other than the school was trying to get a hold of parents. After the students got back from specials, I asked them if this student had ever said anything to them that made them feel unsafe. Immediately about half of my class's hands shot up in the air. One student told me she was going to unalive me, another said she wished I would die. A third said, she told me my family is going to hell. These were sentiments repeated by many of the other kids who had raised their hands. Towards the end of the day, the counselor texted me to let me know the meeting with parents and student, admin, the counselor, and police had taken place. I'm angry because I should have been there and I wasn't. The counselor said the police asked if there were any firearms in the home and the family said no. The officer also said if this behavior continues, further action will be taken. The parents agreed to the student receiving therapy and the student will be monitored closely. When I asked if the student would be returned to my room, the counselor found me in person since it was dismissed. She relayed the principal's decision that the student will spend Thursday and Friday in another classroom before starting fresh on Monday. Yes, because this is something I and my students can start fresh from. I told the counselor I don't feel comfortable with her returning to the class and will be letting the principal know. I also had to have a conversation with the teacher we share recess with and ask her to talk to her students to make sure the student hasn't been threatening them too. Because I don't think she has, but I also didn't know she was threatening my kids either. Edit. After the student was temporarily moved to a different class, I pushed back on her ever returning to mine. I emailed the principal and used particular words and statements about student safety. The decision was made to have the student finish out the semester in the different class and then, come January, she will be moved to a different class with fewer students for the rest of the year. She is no longer allowed to bring a backpack to school and will be receiving therapy.